follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard. We're live in downtown Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Big show lined up today. PGA begins tomorrow. We'll hit it hard with Jeff Seeley coming up in 30 minutes. His outrights, his placements. We'll get into the course. Some exotic bets that you can find. Very creative with the menus now for every major across the country. And we'll touch on that with him. Mike Palm on the show. You cannot be serious. Matt Humans on the program. We'll hit NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, the NFL schedule, all of it coming up on a 3-hour banger here for you on a Wednesday. So there was some talk going into this Spurs-Wolves series that Wemby might kind of be a little shy because he has so much respect for Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
Both guys obviously from France. I guess that when he actually has an edge to play with, though, that outweighs everything else. Gets kicked out of the previous game, comes out last night, sets the tone, and they won every single quarter. They absolutely dominated a good basketball team last night. Again.
Yeah, they played with their food, though. I mean, up 16, tie game. Up 12, tie game. But every time they wanted to, they would come with that big run, and then they blow them out. The thing that pisses me off is game one. Like, this series should have been over. What happened in game one? Because you've pounded them now in 2 home games, and this thing would have been over. And not to mention him getting tossed out of the last game, but then they also blew an 8-point lead with 8 minutes left. So Minnesota catches a break yet again because for whatever reason, they don't play tomorrow. So Ant gets a much-needed extra day of rest with that big injury. And the other thing, you got to close them out because OKC's sitting there with all this rest, and it's going to be hard enough to beat them the way it is. The last thing you want to do is anything can happen in a game 7.
Sure can.
There could be a fluky result. The nerves get to you. You're not knocking down threes.
The Wolves might hit 15 threes. Who knows?
Yeah. So take care of business Friday and get on to the Western Conference Finals. That's what I got to say.
This should have been a 5-game series. You're right.
No doubt.
Either game 1 or if he doesn't throw that elbow and retaliate like that, if he doesn't kick out, they probably win. Who knows? I mean, but it easily could have been a 5-game series. He's the first player this postseason with a 20-point double-double in any half, and the second player ever to average 20-plus points, 10-plus rebounds, 4-plus blocks over his first 9 career playoff games. There was a tweet sent out last night comparing him to Tim Duncan's first run.
Yeah.
And the numbers are kind of comparable. Wemby averages like 2 more rebounds and like similar points, more blocks. Duncan played almost 42 minutes a game. This dude's playing 29 minutes a game. And Duncan was amazing. Yeah. This guy's like on a per 36 or per 48. Forget about it. Blows him out of the water.
The other thing, too, I'd like to know if you tell me what they're going to shoot from 3 before the game, that'll decide the outcome, too. That's the other thing.
Yeah, right?
Right? So in their losses, they've been awful. And in the wins, they're in the high 30s or in the 40s as well from 3. So great job. Surprised me. But an excellent performance to run them out. And they're the better team, and they should win Friday. No excuses.
I would agree. Dylan Harper, 12-10 last night. First rookie guard in NBA history with multiple 10-10 playoff games off the bench. And for one game last night anyway, the Opta AI stats, and boy, did they nail Anthony Edwards. We talked about that several times on the show. They projected slightly more than 20 points in that game, and we said if you ladder unders all the way below like 20 and a half, and if it comes in, you're going to hit a nice payday. He ended up with 20 points in the game last night. And his prop was 27-ish in that neighborhood last night. Huh? So all those numbers, that was like SGA in the first couple of games against LA. If you were laddering unders, you were popping.
Yeah.
So as for tonight, I've reached out to several people who I really respect in the NBA.
You take the Pistons?
I asked them what their thought was on the game tonight, and they said nothing. They're staying away completely.
Really?
2 of the most respected NBA guys who we know.
Oh, I'm surprised.
Uh-huh.
Down to 3.5 at DraftKings. I think the Pistons win. Now, they're $1.30, $1.35 here to win the series. They're also 35-1 to win the title. OG still isn't close to practicing. And if the Pistons could win this thing in 6, or the Cavs, who are 45-1, game 1 would be Sunday.
Are you going to talk yourself out of the Knicks now in the East?
I'm just saying, it's the fact that he might, who knows when he plays? He's not even practicing.
Right.
And that's why you don't, not to be trifled with these hammy injuries. These people are out of their minds. But as I said yesterday, the Cavs have to prove it to me. 6-0 at home, 0-5 on the road, and a completely different team. Also only averaging 100 points a game in these road losses. Number one, it's going to be a completely different whistle tonight. I guarantee it. And I think you get a great performance out of Cunningham. Now, what happens with the others in the X factors?
You tell me what happens with Tobias Harris right now.
Oh, I think he'll be good.
Okay.
Now, he's only gone, he's 10-1 over his points prop. He's sitting there 18.5. But LeVert had 24 in the last game. He was great, 10 of 16, but he's banged up and questionable. Duncan Robinson's questionable. Although I think they'll both play. You're going to get an X factor here. Someone that can decide a game and can swing a series.
Can we call Jalen Duren an X factor at this point?
Oh, he's bad. I got to play Paul Reed. And I know he's good because Doc Rivers wouldn't play him in Philly. That's how I know he's good, too.
That's confirmation bias
Absolutely.
Right there.
Paul Reed has been good in the series, and he was excellent in the last game. He needs more minutes. He's an X factor. Jenkins is an X factor. Merrill's an X factor. Schroeder's an X factor. All these guys can swing a series tonight.
The Opta AI stats like Duren again tonight.
No way. I can't count on the guy.
So I kind of want to go around the world here. Don't you? Pistons first quarter, first half, and for the game. And I'll give you this. For the 2026 NBA playoffs, teams off a straight-up loss when they're favored in the next game. In the first quarter, they're 19-6 straight up, 18-6-1 ATS. That's the zigzag here. That ties into like a true zigzag thing. Okay, You lost the first two, or you won the first two at home, you lost the next two on the road. Now you're coming back home for a game 5. And teams that lost big in game 4 by 7 points or more come back big time in game 5. This is Steve Mackin, VSiN.com.
Yeah.
19-7 ATS over the last 26 tries. That would be Detroit tonight minus the points.
Yeah, they also got embarrassed too. To get that 23-0 run in the third quarter. Unacceptable. But it was a great performance from Mitchell and aggressive Mitchell. And does that happen? I love aggressive San Antonio. 68 points in the paint last night. It's ridiculous. Does Mitchell attack the basket? Does he get to the free throw line? Do they reward him with the calls like they did in the last game?
I think the game almost boils down to how big of a game he's going to have. I saw something today that since do you see this? Since Donovan Mitchell entered the league, he has more 30-point playoff games than any player in the league since he entered. So more than Joker, more than LeBron, more than anybody in the entire NBA. It's like 36 games, I think, where he scored at least 30 plus. That's you can't call him a wild card, but if he goes for 40 tonight, they can win the game.
Yeah.
But if he has an off game tonight, I don't trust anybody else on the Cavaliers tonight.
Don't trust Mobley. Don't trust Harden.
Nope.
Don't trust Strus. I don't know what I'm going to get out of Merrill. He's only, as a prop's only 6 points. Thompson was bad, too, in the last couple of games. That's another guy. Thompson and Duren are killing him.
Oh, they should just leave Thompson wide open the entire time. Say, do you want it from 17? Are you going to take a mid-range, pal? What do you want to do? 3?
Yeah.
Be my guest. Do whatever you want with the ball. Shoot it, because we don't think that you can make anything.
Yeah. But also, it's going to be key what they get out of Duncan Robinson as well, because like that flip that was so bizarre to start the series where Detroit was killing them from 3, and they were the worst team in the league, playoff teams, and how bad they were against Orlando as well, shooting a 3. I'll
give you some more numbers from Steve Mackin. And again, I encourage you to read the stuff at VSiN.com on the daily. Teams off a loss in a second-round series game and playing at home have bounced back very well since 2021. 37-21 against the spread. That is 64%. Actually, you can make that 38-21 because that was San Antonio last night, and they got the job done. So even higher than that. Also, Detroit, 21-10 under the total as a favorite, between 1.5 and 5 points this season. And you all know about home teams so far in this series and overall 5-0 straight up in ATS, and under the total between these two, 15-5 last 20 meetings. Like what would you do with the total? Would you leave it alone or would you lean towards the under? Again, that all comes down to what if the Pistons get hot again from 3-point?
I would still lean I'd still lean to the under based on how bad Cleveland's been offensively on the road.
Yeah, me too.
The other one. Are we getting carried away with the Avalanche?
230? At some point, the Wild will have to take money.
Yeah. I love what Jonathan Davis said yesterday. There's no momentum in hockey. It's shift to shift. Yeah. It's not game to game. And he's right. But that's maybe just Colorado's too good and they haven't lost at home. And you want to play that empty net prop as well. And 6.5 the total. See how many empty net goals we get. Because this could be a killer. Because it's an elimination game too. He comes out, he stays out.
Actually, yeah. What do you think of the Avs here tonight on the puck line? In case that's the story, and the Wild are going to yank the goalie with who knows how much time left, and there's always going to be that room for them to sneak in another one or two, maybe.
Yeah.
Last night the games were razor thin. I should have stuck to my guns by betting both dogs. I bet the one dog that lost. But that was a coin flip game and had almost plus 150 on the Ducks.
Should have flipped. Montreal should have won, and Anaheim should have won.
What do you even say about the second goal?
I've never seen that before. I've been watching hockey for 45. I've never seen that before. It goes out sideways.
Yeah.
And it hits Dobish and goes in.
Now, do you blame him as a former goalie?
No.
How would you even see that coming at you?
No, absolutely not. And I blame the coaching staff. Emily Kaplan was all over it. They told him, get back in the net because of the Zamboni door there, and that could happen. If he's out, if he's up in the crease, that doesn't happen. That's the freakiest goal and changed the whole series.
Totally agree.
It comes out rockets and ricochets sideways and hits him and goes in. And now we got a series. We're brought to you by Francetic Tax Resolution, whether it's sports books, casinos, or poker. Those winnings create tax issues if they're not handled properly. Paul Francetic has helped gamblers resolve these problems for over 20 years. He's offering a free gambler tax problem consultation, 262-752-6992, or visit gamblertaxhelp.com.
Win, lose early today. Coming up next, Paulie's going to tell you about a massive upset that took place late last night when you weren't paying attention. Next here on VSiN.
Let me get your attention real quick, podcast listeners. I've got something for you that almost feels too good to be true. First, credit where credit's due. If you're listening to this podcast, you're already leveling up your betting game. You're riding along with our best bets and top angles. And when there's a good game on, you're getting involved with a few props and alt markets as well. There's one more layer if you really want to step things up, and that's VSiN Pro. I've mentioned it before, but things are only getting better for our pro subscribers. We just rolled out our MLB prop projections, breaking down some of the best edges across strikeouts, hits, home runs, and more. And that's on top of everything else pro subscribers already get, including public betting splits, expert picks, and betting guides across the sports calendar. If you haven't tried it yet, stop sleeping on it. You can get your first month just $9.99 or save big with promo code POD26 on the annual subscription. Hit the link in the description and start cashing in with VSiN Pro. All right, back to the show.
Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Thanks to Rich in Canada. New Hook got it done. 5 shots on goal. His prop tomorrow at Caesars is 1.5. He's had 5, 4, 4, and 4 going back. First Canadians goal, 10-1. Seneca, anytime goal, 3-1. First Anaheim goal, 10-1. Fourth game in a row, he scored the first goal for the Ducks.
Wow.
Spurs Wolves, Most assists, Castle 5-1. Most made threes, Reed 8-1. McDaniels 5-1. Dead heat. Mariners have won 9 in a row against the Astros. The Rays are on a 16-2 run. They won again. And they're underdogs today.
What do you make of that? Now, Cease has been really good.
Uh-huh.
And Jax is a guy they're trying to spread out and make a starter. Do you want to take the plus money with the Rays? I'm tempted.
Yeah, they're 5-0 against them, too. Brewers 125 up to 155. Another win. And I think you have to go against the Dodgers every night. Giants plus 280 came in. The Dodgers cannot hit, and they are in a big funk right now.
Their power rating needs to be adjusted a little bit because of the offense.
Yes. Ohtani laying a big price tonight. WNBA, Liberty, Portland over, 169.5 up to 179.5 at DK. It was 175 at other books. And the Fire on the money line, 6-1.
How about that?
What an upset. Expansion team.
They got absolutely annihilated in their first game this year.
Yes.
Liberty are supposed to be, again, one of the best teams in the league, and they lost the game outright. Damn.
Good card last night. A lot of props cash, too.
Yeah, you had Angel.
Oh, yeah. She's going to put up ridiculous numbers this year. She's polarizing, but 16 rebounds. She also had 12 points. She's on a much better team. They're going to be a factor. Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos. This is an all-timer. This is Athens, Greece the other night. For the first time in 16 years, Metallica played there. Second song out of the gates, For Whom the Bell Tolls. This is what happens when 60, 70, 80,000 people jump up and down at the same time. It triggered a seismic event. And look at a guy with the flare. How did he get in? Oh, my God.
I want one of those. Can I go to a concert with that?
No kidding. It's like a soccer match. He sneaks in a flare, and that is incredible. Maybe they do that when they come to the Sphere.
I was going to say,
my God.
Would you rather be there for that, or would you rather go to the Sphere and not have that?
I'd probably hear 80,000 people
like
at the concert, all jumping up and down at the same time.
I'm not kidding. I've seen them, I think, 7, 8, 9 times.
Yeah.
Give me that crowd over almost anything. I'm talking about like almost any sporting event.
Yeah.
With how fired up they were to watch them in Greece, that is incredible.
YouTube the Moscow show.
Look at this.
Yeah. They played in front of 1 million people in 1991 in Moscow.
Oh, well, that's on. You can't touch that.
And then there's a insane crowd in Seattle in 1989 that's out there with their box set. Look at that. Bedlam. Pandemonium. This is also pandemonium. Look at the French Bulldog here. Can't get enough. The kid puts them up. Cannonball. Kid, come on, buddy. You got to go out of the pool. It's time to go in, right? Set him up. Okay. Turn around. Here he comes. Right back in.
Jimmy
He can fly.
Snuka.
Sure, absolutely. He can fly off the top rope. How about another Snuka here? Come on, buddy. Get out. That's enough. Here we go. Almost lands on the dog. You can't get enough of it. That's great. Oh, I forgot to mention. The same thing happened when Metallica played at Virginia Tech Stadium. When Enter Sandman played. Right. When they were all jumping up and down at the same time. Lose some. Another loser. Messick was solid again. He only made one mistake. Guardians swept the Angels. They've lost 12 of 13 on the road now. Oh, they're bad. Good win for Cleveland, 4-2. A's 125 up to 155, no good. Dodgers 290 up to 350, no good. FTM at vsin.com as always, the email. This is from George McKenzie. Funny tidbit about we're starting the season in Australia with the Rams and Niners, right? And you pointed out the time difference.
Right.
And it's a 16-hour flight. I flew from the West Coast to Melbourne. I left on December 26th. I landed the 28th. I missed a day of my life in the air. The 27th never happened.
Is that right?
How about 16-hour flight. Depends when you leave.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably
wild.
normal then, I guess, right?
Yeah. Thanks, George. Sharp Place. Start winning with them. SharpPlays.com. Jeff and the crew, excellent. Been with us since day one. The Daily Mr. Poison tweets. When they move, the books take notice. Advanced AI, trusted insider intel. They find the value before the numbers shift. He's donated over $30,000 to charity the last couple of years with the Robin Hood plays. All of it documented. Logs posted publicly. SharpPlays.com. Start winning with them. Get on board now. SharpPlays.com.
More and more games coming out now. National Football League. It is confirmed, by the way. Earlier today, the speculation around that Thanksgiving Eve game about will the league do it? Are they not going to do it? Well, they are. And, of course, they're not messing around whatsoever. Two of the better teams in the entire league. It's Green Bay and the Rams playing. Looks like it's going to be in L.A. because the Rams are, well, at DK, they're a 3.5-point favorite. At FanDuel, they are a 4.5-point favorite. So that's official. We're going to get the game on Wednesday night. We'll have 3 on Thanksgiving. We'll have Black Friday. And then games on Sunday.
Beautiful. Love it. I'm glad they did that. They also, what they promised Netflix.
They're getting a lot.
They get the Christmas Eve game, Thanksgiving Eve. They get 2 on Christmas.
Yep.
And then they promise them a Week 18 game on a Saturday with playoff implications. Okay.
Yeah. There's also this, like, during the holiday weeks. So I just told you about Thanksgiving. We're going to get Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. During Christmas, we're going to have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. These guys, I hate, there should never be more than 8 early games ever. So until they continue to get this, wrong, I'm fine with standalone games. I think the problem Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the league better be careful. Otherwise, Sundays, like how special Sundays are, that's going to be wiped away a little bit because I don't think we can eliminate that where we have, and I know people are saying about like the witching hour for the early games. I would totally agree. There is something absolutely special in the, what would that be? 3:30 window, right around there Eastern time, 12:30 out here to 1:15. That hour that takes place when you have, 3, 4, 5 games at the same time when, as Scott Hansen has said, wins become losses, losses become wins. If that's going to be eliminated, I think the league is kind of ruining their own product.
Well, and then if you only have 3 late games and they're bad games.
That's another thing, too.
They're not good matchups or they're blowouts. Then you're a fan, you're ticked off. Mm-hmm. The problem they could run into, I say more the merrier for standalone and all that, but I think a problem they're going to run into is the international games. So the biggest misnomer is Carrie Underwood. I've been waiting all day for Sunday night. That's a lot of people say, okay, that's bedtime now. I can't do it anymore. They are doing 9 international games, and Goodell wants 18 coming up.
Yeah, so we're talking about...
You got to get up you're talking 6 a.m. out here.
Yep.
And that's the thing. That's a long day, and with you got a family and kids, that's not sustainable.
So no matter where you're living, we're talking about a 14, 15-hour day of football nonstop the entire year. I mean, again, on paper, that sounds amazing. I like the international games more than I like the standalone games because I want to be hit upside the head on Sunday. Like, give me as many games as possible on Sunday, and then we get to think about it for the entire week. That's where I'm at with it. Again, I'm probably in the minority on that because, I'm not a 26-year-old single man anymore. 49, married with a kid. That probably changes things a little bit. So maybe the younger generation is eating this up and they can't get enough of it. And, watching on their phones on Netflix, and they love it, pump it right into their veins. And, that's why the league's probably going to keep doing this anyway. I mean, if they're going to expand on Netflix like this, well, then this is only the beginning. I can't imagine what the league's going to look like in 5 years.
Yes. Bad beat for Jacksonville, too. Your home game, you got to play the Houston Texans.
I know.
In London, that could decide the division.
I know. I'll give you another one.
And they also got to play the Eagles. So the Eagles are favored and Houston's favored.
Yeah.
With Jacksonville's 2 London games. Go ahead.
I was going to say, on a neutral, the Lions are 1.5 against the Patriots. Are we sure that's enough points?
All right. That's week 10 in Munich.
Mm-hmm.
How about the 49ers? Oh, the miles traveled. They lead the way by a ton at like 38,000. You got Carolina at the bottom, 8,000.
I know.
It's going to take a toll on the Niners. They play the Vikings week 11 in Mexico City. In addition to the Melbourne game to start. They're laying 4 in that game. And Steelers and Saints in Paris. That's week 7.
I think we got the read here again.
Got that.
Oh, okay. This show is sponsored by Francetic Tax. If you're a gambler dealing with IRS letters or taxes on winnings, Paul Francetic can help. Get a free confidential consultation at gamblertaxhelp.com. Jeff Seeley on the program coming up next. His best bets, and we'll kick around the PGA Championship here and Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
The PGA Championship gets underway tomorrow, our second major of 2026. It is going to be hours deep by the time that we're on the air, and we'll talk about it here and get some best bets with Jeff Seeley as we head out to the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow him on X at Cutmaker Jeff. The Cutmaker podcast is up now wherever you get your podcasts. Good afternoon, buddy. How are you today?
I'm great, fellas. How are you?
Doing really well. We'll get into your outrights, your placement bets coming up in about 15 minutes. You're going to hang out for 2 full segments with us. How many, when we talked about the Masters last month, there was this notion that only, I don't know, whatever the number was, 8, 10, maybe 15 golfers could win the event, and that was pretty much it. Is this event like way more wide open, or would you say it's kind of similar to what we had last month at the Masters?
No, I think it's a little more open in that you have more people qualifying in this, right, than you do for the Masters. But by the same token, the Masters has a lot of former champions who are effectively dead. And in this thing, you have a lot of club pros who are effectively dead, right? So you have, say, 20 some guys who qualified as they're PGA professionals in their local market. Those guys are effectively dead as well. So I think there's a combination there, but I'd say it's a little more wide open than the Masters, but still only a handful of people who can really get this done.
Huh. You don't want to attack Michael Block then this year?
I bet against him last week. There's one of my daughter's golf coaches was, he put him up. Jeff Sherman put him up last year at the Westgate, and he beat Michael Block last year. So yeah, I mean,
11 to 1.
I wish I could do it again.
11 to 1 to make the cut.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, I'm not betting on Michael Block. I'm out on that. There's plenty of other good guys to make the cut. I would rather parlay 5 guys to make the cut than gamble on Michael Block at 11 to 1. I'm out on that.
Well, the key here in some of your notes, the key is going to be putting, correct?
Yes, absolutely. And again, it's crazy stat. I think that's really interesting. Last time the PGA played here was in 2018, was the BMW Championship, and Keegan Bradley gained 62% of his strokes putting. And so, not a super long course, par 70, 7,400 yards. So it's like, you're going to have to be able to putt. And I think that's just it. Putting is going to be critical. So that as much as anything, I don't count on Michael Block and his putting this week. 11 to 1, you can have him Polly's all year.
Oh boy, come on. Negative.
He's fun poison.
No, rooting for the good story. Yeah.
So we were looking around today, found some really creative props at a lot of the national books, FanDuel, DraftKings, Bet365, et cetera. Some of the stuff on FanDuel really good. You can bet like any 2, and they'll give you 4 golfers. Well, any 2 of the 4 make the top 10, make the top 20, et cetera. Did you find anything there?
Yeah, guys, one of the ones I liked a lot on FanDuel was Fitzpatrick, Fleetwood, and Koepka top 20, any 2 at minus 180. I like all 3 of those guys that finished top 20. Koepka's more so I worry about the putter. The other 2, I mean, I think they're all great top 20 bets. And the fact that you only have to get 2 of them get there, I like that a lot. I think that's a unique angle to take. And then other than that, I looked at some of the traditional make the cut parlays. There's one I really liked, Harris English and Ricky Fowler to make the cut parlay on FanDuel that plays better than even money, plus 106. So that was one other prop I played there. And then the others are just some same things. You can get 2 guys that finish top 20. You could parlay them to get the same price, but like I did Rory, Cam Young, both finished top 20 at plus 150. So you can shop around and maybe find a better price there if you parlay 2 of them. But I think that's a pretty fair price on Rory and Cam Young to both finish top 20. I like that on FanDuel too.
All right. Are you on any live golfers this week? There are markets up there like will a live golfer win it? And then who's going to have the highest finish or the best finish out of all the live golfers? What do you find there?
So it's interesting. I've really struggled. I've gone back and forth with Jon Rahm. I was going to play him and like every model and every like sim and everything you look at loves Jon Rahm this week. And so, but my gut is just telling me he's not a good play. He's not a good bet. Something's something's off. And my gut is just telling me don't do it, which means he's for sure to win because I'm not going to play him. But I do like Tyrrell Hatton this week as top live golfer. You can find him better than 5 to 1. And you look at Hatton, I mean, there is a really, really compelling story for this guy, right? I mean, in his last, his last couple events, so Live Golf Virginia, fine, 17th, but he's finished back-to-back prior to that, top 5 in his live events. And we know the guy can play well in majors. So, I'm a big Tyrrell Hatton guy this week. I think, 5 to 1 is easily, I think it's a great price for top live golfers. So that's one I really like a lot.
How about lowest round shot 62.5 and leading score after the first round 63.5?
Yeah, I like the over on both of those. I think that those are both pretty aggressive. I would be over on both of those bets.
Be over on both? What do you think the winning score is going to be then?
I saw Sherman, I think it was, said, 12 under or so. And I think that's actually a pretty good line. I think it's going to be a little better than that. I would take, I would say it's going to be a little lower. So under, if you will, on that. I can see it getting into 13 or 14, maybe even 15. Because last time they played here, I think it was 20 was the winning score. So somewhere in between there. But I like a little, I think it'll be a little better. So I can see 13, 14, 15 under winning this week. I don't mind that. And one other prop, guys, I played that I think is kind of interesting. I played it at the Masters, and I like it again, and I'm going to keep playing it, I think, until it kicks me off, is first time major winner no.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's some guys I like in this market, but I mean, think of all the great golfers who have won a major. If any of them win, you win, right? So it's minus 142 on the no. So I was looking at the guys who could beat you really on the yes. So Cam Young, Oberg, Fleetwood, Henley, Cantlay, Hovland, Hatton, and Ricky Fowler. Like, that's who can beat you, in my opinion, on the yes. And you have Scotty, you have Rory, you have Jon Rahm, you have Bryson, you have everybody else on the no. Like, at minus 142, I think that's a good price. And I'm going to continue to bet that every major until just into perpetuity, probably, because I just think the no is such a good bet there.
Okay.
Good research. What did you find at Bet365 on winning margin, 2 strokes or more?
Yeah. So guys, the last, I looked this up, the last 20 years, the winner of the PGA Championship has won by 2 strokes, exactly 2 strokes, 9 times. And so you can find Cam Young at 20-1 at 2 strokes or more, and Ricky Fowler at 110-1, 2 strokes exactly, 2 stroke margin victory. So I like both of those, and then you can boost those up a little bit. Ricky Fowler, especially 110-1 if he wins by 2 strokes. I think that would be super interesting.
First of all, I love the fact that there is a book that offers that. It kind of ties into like NFL division bets. Like, I want books to offer, will a team win their division by 1.5, 2.5, 3.5 games, whatever it is, you can name your price. And for golf tournaments, I wish they would be like, you want to lay a stroke and a half with Scotty Scheffler to win this thing? Do you want to lay 2.5 strokes with Rory? Whatever it is. I think that'd be great if it became commonplace. So that's up there, and that's how you're going to approach that one as well. Did you do anything with the hole-in-one? And Paulie, have you bet that yet?
Yeah, no 125. Come on.
You bet the no?
Oh, yeah.
So I saved that one from Paulie. I never bet that. The only time I ever bet that actually is at the Masters. There's usually a hole-in-one at the Masters, but I have not bet it. Not a market I'm gonna take this week, but I saved that for Paulie. Paulie, how many times have you cashed on that?
I usually lose. It usually happens. I know, it usually happens. But I do bet the yes on the Masters, though, is what you said earlier, though. Yeah. But the no on the other events.
Jeff, you should see it as soon as any event that Paulie has the no on and we get a hole-in-one, the Twitter feed is just ding, 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 ding.
I don't know if you're watching, but
hey, Paulie, there was a hole-in-one. Really?
Yes.
Oh, right. Thanks. Yeah, I don't have it on TV right now. Yes. You've been to this course.
77 tweets I got didn't tell me that.
Well, you've been to this course multiple times, yeah?
I have, yeah. No, it's a beautiful track. Again, there's nothing that is really remarkable about it in terms of difficulty, right? So as I'm thinking about this and just looking at the scores, I think really it's going to be the rough and the greens, and it's going to be, there's going to be a little bit of weather, right? It's going to be cooler. It's going to be in the high 60s, and there may be a little bit of rain. So I think that could be a little bit of a factor. If the rough gets thick and you're hitting at a wet rough, that's never fun. But honestly, I think the guys are going to be fine, and I do like a decent score of 13 or 14 under to get there this week.
Copy that.
Good job. All right, we're brought to you by Francetic Tax Resolution. This is the part of betting most people don't think about until it's too late. The IRS taxes your wins, and if something's off, those letters start showing up fast. Saw the news, Dana White sent the letter to Trump. Paul Francetic has spent over 20 years helping gamblers fix tax issues and deal directly with the IRS. He's offering a free gambler tax problem consultation so you can understand where you stand and what to do next. Call 262-752-6992 or go to gamblertaxhelp.com, gamblertaxhelp.com. Call Paul.
We will continue with Jeff Seeley coming up next. Again, you can follow him on X. He is at Cutmaker Jeff. The Cutmaker podcast this week is now up. Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get them. And he's talking about the PGA Championship. We're gonna get into all of his outrights and to his placements as well. I'll just throw this out there because I don't see him at all. Jeff betting him this week. I found Scotty Scheffler at plus 115 top 5 yesterday. I had to bet that.
All right.
If it loses, I'm okay with that.
Okay, yeah.
A plus 115 to finish top 5 was a bet for me. You're going to get the entire rundown of his best bets coming up next here on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Follow the Money is sponsored by Francetic Tax. If gambling winnings turned into a tax problem, don't ignore it. Paul Francetic can walk you through your options. Free consultation at gamblertaxhelp.com. Again, that's gamblertaxhelp.com. Definitely file that one away. As Jeff Seeley remains on the Progressive guest line, and now we'll get into his best bets for the PGA Championship. Again, you can follow him on X at Cupmaker Jeff, and the Cupmaker podcast is out for this week. All right, buddy, near the top of the odds board, Scotty's obviously the rightful favorite. Then you get into Rory, Jon Rahm, and then Cam Young. Who do you want to attack it with?
Yeah, I mean, guys, it's hard to pick against Cam Young, who you could argue is the best player in the world right now. And if he's not the best, he's definitely the hottest. If I'm nitpicking here, it's that his putting was awful on Sunday last week. It's been so good this year. We watched him insane putts go in on Saturday. It just seemed like he was going to make everything. I live bet him last weekend. And then he 4-putted from 14 feet on Sunday and never recovered, losing almost 5 strokes putting on Sunday and ended up down putting overall for the weekend. That is my lone case against Cam Young. I don't have to tell you guys or anybody who's paid any attention how good Cam Young's been. Obviously, he won the Players and been on a heater ever since then. Runner-up at the Masters. Look, arguably the second best player in the world right now, if not the best, and definitely the hottest. I'm on him at 15-1, and the fact that Rahm is actually below him in the odds market really surprises me. So I think 15-1 is a great price on Cam Young.
All right.
And I think you could. I love him in matchups too. I would play him in a lot of matchups this week.
Well, I love the Come to Jesus meeting years ago when Butch Harmon asked Ricky Fowler, do you want to be a golfer or a Kardashian? And we're going to hear audio from a guy coming up as well who's strong on him this week. But you're also strong on Fowler and think he's back and can win this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, he grades out number 2 in my model this week, largely due to the fact that right now he's the best putter in short and long-term form. It comes to having finished top 10 in 3 straight events. He was the clubhouse leader last week on Sunday, gaining on approach in all 3 and gaining 5 strokes putting last week. But guys, it's not just his last few events. In January, he stood up 3 straight top 20s at the Amex, the Waste Management, and Pebble. Finished T9 at the API early March, hit a skid around the Players, and now he's bounced back with 3 straight top 10s. Can he spike putt this week? Last time he played here in 2018, he gained 6 strokes putting. Mark my words, if he gains 6 strokes putting again this week, he's winning his first major championship. So really high on Ricky Fowler this week. I played him on just about every matchup as well. So yeah, I like him a lot. In the top 10, I bet him 65-1. I also bet him top 10 plus 400. I would actually be surprised if he didn't finish top 10. He's probably my favorite placement market bet this week.
Wow. Okay, so you're going to go Cam Young 15-1, then drop all the way down to Fowler 65-1. All right, then who do you have behind him?
Yeah, guys, Minwoo Lee is a very dynamic character, not only in his personality, but in his golf game. Models and sims love Minwoo Lee every single week. It's easy to see why. You don't have to look any further than his last 5 events to understand Minwoo Lee in a nutshell. And when we look at people who can win longer shots in golf tournaments, you're looking for what we call spike weeks. Typically, it's spike putting, but with Minwoo Lee, his spikes are all over the board. At Truist, he gained 4 strokes off the tee, 2 strokes around the green, lost putting. Doral lost 2 strokes on approach, gained 4 putting. RBC gained 2 around the green, lost 5 putting. Masters lost everywhere. In Houston, where he finished T3, gained 3 off the tee, gained 5 on approach, gained 3 putting. So the point is, when he puts it all together, he can contend in any event. His talent's undeniable. He doesn't do it very often, which is why he's 69-1. But if we can get a combo spike off the tee and spike putting week, as long as we're just neutral everywhere else, I think we can find a top 10 finish and potentially be in the winning conversation. So I like Minwoo Lee. Plus, he's super fun and really easy to cheer for. And then, guys, the former U.S. Open champion, J.J. Spaun, who brought, if you hadn't heard of lab putters before, you did after that. 69-1, plus 450, top 10. And he is the model of the aforementioned spike putting. He has a win and a top 5 in his last 5 events. And in each case, he gained two strokes more putting with 3 rounds in between of losing 2.5 strokes putting. So it's those spike weeks that have kept him, going because his irons have been great there. The important thing here, the irons are absolutely dialed. when they're on and he spikes in putting, he's definitely in the conversation. And people forget that since his U.S. Open win last June, where he spiked for 10 strokes gained putting, that's insane. Since then, he has a Ryder Cup appearance, 4 more top 5s, and 2 top 20s, including a top 5 last week. So it's not a fluke. JJ Spaun is legit. His price seems pretty absurd, 70 to 1 or so. So I'm going to take advantage of this. I do like JJ Spaun a lot this week.
All right, Bomb Squad. This is crazy. This is the favorite bet you've ever made. 101 or higher. 101 or higher. Tell us who it is.
It is, because I will not even be slightly shocked. So I won't even be surprised if Harris English finishes top 5 this week. He's 120 to 1, and he is just a quiet dog. To check the putting box we've mentioned, he went on a run earlier this year where he gained an average of 3 strokes or more putting across 7 straight events. The guy can flat out putt. The current form is there. Finished T4 at Harbor Town a few weeks ago, T24 at the Truist last week. But guys, what people don't realize is how good Harris English has been in Masters, particularly his putting. In majors. Over his last 8 majors, going back to 2024, he's gained an average of 4.3 strokes putting across his last 8 majors. Now, how have his results been? In the Open Championship last year, he was runner-up. And in last year's PGA Championship, he was runner-up. So you have a guy who we know can putt, in majors, who was the runner-up at the PGA Championship last year, and he's 120 to 1? I'm going to ladder him top 40, top 30, top 20, top 10, top 5, some on the outright, and I'm parlaying him with Ricky Fowler at plus 106 to make the cut. Those 2 guys have better than even money to make the cut. That is going to be my biggest bet of the week by a big margin. Wow. I absolutely love that.
Very good. And I'll tell you this too, by the way, to add in on Harris English, Jeff, you know this as well as anybody. He can really go out there and get scorching hot on Thursdays. I think if you're that high on him, you need to play a little bit on the first round leader market with him as well.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I would think you bet him every way you can, right? I agree. The first round leader market's a good way to look at him, but he's a guy too, though, Mitch, that often gets scorching hot on Sundays, and he'll be T20, and next thing you know, he's T4.
Yeah.
Right, and he's so quiet. He doesn't get a ton of TV coverage unless he's in the final. He's just not in a marquee guy. But man, is he good. He is extremely consistent, and what a price on a guy who's as talented as Harris English is. Yeah,
very good. Other first-round leaders that you're looking at would be who?
Yeah, guys, Hollywood Hoagie, right? We got our guy, Tom Hoagie. He wasn't on the board earlier on DraftKings. He is now. He is 250 to 1 to be the first-round leader, and he's 20 to 1, top 10 first round. I like that a lot. Keegan Bradley, again, we mentioned he won here in 2018. He's 88 to 1 first-round leader. So, yeah, I don't mind those at all, and I am going to play some Harris English first-round leader. I think that's a good bet. So, and the other one of the bets I made is Cam Young to be leading after all 4 rounds. I think you can find that on Bet365 too. So I'll be cheering for him first round leader a little bit as well.
Basically wire to wire with him.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm with you, by the way. A lot of the stuff that I was reading and people, making predictions, they're super high on Rahm this week. I love that guy going into the Masters, and he just completely stuck a knife in my kidney. So I'm probably making a mistake, but I have nothing on Rahm this week at all. Now, this will be the tournament that he comes out and proves everybody right. Right?
But isn't it weird though that he's lower on the odds board than Cam Young?
Yeah.
Doesn't that just feel wrong?
Yeah.
And look, I know he's playing good golf on LIV, but it's not the same thing. Ask Brooks Koepka, right? It's not the same thing. And it's comical. I would bet Cam Young in a matchup against Rahm all day long and sleep soundly. And if you see it, I would encourage you to take it because I guarantee you're going to find a decent price.
You think he's frustrated though too? What's going to happen with these guys? And Rahm pretty much said, I'm stuck because of my contract.
Well, and Paul, and look at every interview this week. There's no positivity.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
It's not like there's a bunch of positive vibes going on. It's not like, hey, welcome. It's literally the opposite of Koepka. Koepka's like, hey, Brooksy, good to see you. Welcome back. And Rahm, they're like, what's happening with LIV? Are you happy? What are you going to do? Did you miss the boat? It's got to be somewhat distracting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Great breakdown, man. Thank you so much for the time. We appreciate that, and crush it this week.
All right, fellas. Take care.
Thank you.
There you go. He's on the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow Jeff Seeley on X at Cutmaker Jeff, and the Cutmaker podcast is out for the PGA Championship as well. I bet Aubert at 35-1 for the first round leader. Because that's a guy who also gets off to like these just flamethrower starts and then can fizzle out a little bit. I don't have him to win the entire thing, but I think those numbers that he just brought up on a guy like Hoagie and English, huge numbers like that, worth betting.
I like Gotterup, Koepka, and Fowler. I'm surprised there hasn't been more love for Gotterup.
I'll give you an angle that is now 38-21 ATS since 2021 after the Spurs got it done last night.